Hello and thanks for having a look at this video. This is a video of a password creator that I've tried to make in Excel. Yes, I'm not going to release it, so don't worry about that and security point of views and all this. But really what I'm trying to find out is how secure is this actually? And I'd like to speak to obviously people who are in the industry of password protectors, that kind of thing, actually just to be able to say why this won't work. The reason why I think it's fairly secure, I'll show you how it works, but as I've written in the blog post, it doesn't actually store passwords per se. It actually creates passwords based on your the password, the master password that you enter. So let me just show you how it works. First is a 6-digit code. So this 6-digit code is really just to differentiate if I were to distribute the spreadsheet so that everyone can put a different 6-digit code in, just so that it starts everyone off on a different footing. So even if you have the same password as someone else, in theory you won't actually end up having the same passwords as someone else. You'll have something different. So this just shuffles things around. So let's just put in something that I'm going to remember for now. Once you put that in, you can then come to the accounts where you set them up. So how you set up a password is very simple. Let's just say you want to set up a password for your Facebook account. You can put Facebook. It asks you for the email address that it's linked to. I don't actually put the email address in per se in case this is actually the spreadsheet's found. So I will put in, for example, Richard Personal, which I know which email that is. Account name, if there's a login account name for Facebook, in this case there isn't, so I just leave it because I log in with the email anyway. And then the password ID, I simply select a random number. So every time this refreshes, that random number is different. So when you select a random number, it will give me the password in a minute. I'll show you how that works. So this essentially creates password IDs, which then goes through a vigorous rigmarole of trying to decipher what that password is. Now I'm not going to open this up and show you, but what it effectively does is it takes your 8-digit password and your 9 letters. So let's just say the 8-digit password is very simply that, and the 9-letter password is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Is that 9? Yes. So if we put that in as a number and password, that actually creates a password from it. So there's obviously digits involved. There are 4 and 5 letter words. I think there are about 10,000 different words that it can rotate in all the different orders, one with the other. It puts random capital letters in between it. It adds on a special character as well. It could switch that around within the word. So it kind of switches all of these details around. Now all those individual components of that password are based on what you enter here and what you enter there and what you enter here and that password ID. So that password ID is the only thing that's stored. This we can store because that's not particularly important for now. So I'll leave that in, and I'll leave that password in. So now what I'll do is I'll go into Facebook and set that as my password. So now what I do on the spreadsheet is I'll need to remember those two. I will clear that, and that password disappears. So it doesn't actually store it. Now I don't have this password stored anywhere other than in my head, and I don't have, you can't work that out without that. So if, for argument's sake, someone were, right, let's go back a step, and this spreadsheet is saved on a account which needs to obviously have a login and all the rest. So in theory, if I remember 2 logins, if I remember login for the file where this is stored, for the system where this file is stored, and then I remember these 2 passwords here, I can access the other password. So if I log in to get hold of the spreadsheet, and I come here, if you now come in and I go, actually I don't know what the password is, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I go, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It still produces a password, but it's not the one that I had. It produces something different. So that's how the spreadsheet works. It doesn't actually store this password anywhere. It creates this password based on that. So if that changes, then these will all change. So in theory, you could have 20 passwords down here, and even if someone does open up the spreadsheet, which isn't impossible, they can do that if they gain access to it. So even if they gain access to the spreadsheet, open up the spreadsheet, look at all the formulas I've done to be able to create that from this, and it's all just mix. It's like taking a deck of cards and reshuffling. Essentially, what they could do if they were an absolute mathematical genius is work back along those, and I've tried to do it and failed a few times, to work back to get from that password to this. The problem is they would need to have at least one of these passwords. They would have had to have cracked and got that password. If they've got that password, they could, in theoretically, work back to this, but that password could take them back to 2 or 3 different combinations of in fact more. It'll take them through to a number of combinations of password and number and password, which when they put those ones in, it may work for one of them, but it won't work for the other ones. So they have to go through a whole rigmarole. They have to first get the spreadsheet, where they'd need to crack into one of your accounts to get the spreadsheet anyway. They'd have to have another one of the passwords so that they could have one point to work back for. The more they have, the better. They would then have to reverse engineer, calculate, find all of these different passwords and combinations, and there could be a lot. And then they would need to work all of them with the other passwords, trying the other passwords into your account, knowing where your email address is in the account and all the rest of it, in order to be able to try another password until it cracks that password, and then potentially would be able to crack the rest of them. So that whole process. So I was just wondering, I mean, if there is anyone who knows any more about these kind of things than I do, am I missing something? Is there a super easy way to break this? Because yeah, if, as far as I'm concerned, if you remove that, if you go and put in the original number, only then does it bring up the original password that you had. And as I said, this isn't stored anywhere, so provided you switch the autosave off, so it doesn't autosave it, and then you look at the passwords, get what you need, and when you're finished, clear that. And then once it's cleared, save it. So you don't save those passwords in there. The way I see it, these passwords are irretrievable. In fact, if I forget this, I can't retrieve those passwords because they're not actually stored anywhere. They calculate each time based on what you put in there. And if, as I said, if you put the wrong one in, it produces the wrong password. So yeah, I'm interested to see what people think. I'm not going to obviously sell this product yet. I don't have plans to sell it at all, unless of course I get some really positive feedback from people who know what they're talking about, because people have said it's still not secure, but no one's really been able to explain why. So I'd love to hear why this isn't secure, how you would go about cracking this type of thing if someone were using it, and if you think it's a good idea or any other advice would be great. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you. Bye bye.